Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday. I can't believe the week is flying by. I'm going to center this a little bit. So I'm back talking about F the rules. Keep pushing. This still doesn't satisfy me. It looks a little crooked. So anyway, I just wanted to give two quick examples. I was talking to one of my sorors who was talking about having to get into the hospital to see her dad against the rules. And by the grace of God, she was allowed to be admitted in to see her dad. So I think it took me back because I remember my daughter had to be about 4 years old. So this is going back like 20 years. We lived in the Bronx, and I was ripping and running, and my grandmother was in the hospital. And whenever she went in the hospital, you know, I had a whole routine. I had to go to her house and get her clothing. I would have to get like loungewear, her Bible. There were certain routine things that I had to pack up and take to her, make sure, you know, I took her medications down. There was just like a bag I would just pack and take it over there. And then I would sit with her and visit her every day while she was there. And then as she got up in age, they would keep her several days just to monitor and check everything and make sure she was okay before they would let her go home. So she knew once she went in, she'd be a few days. And so this particular day, it was a little more serious. I'm trying to remember if this was the time that she had a heart attack. I think it might have been that, because it was a serious, it wasn't just, you know, something simple. She actually had to be admitted into ICU, and she was in ICU, and I was working a full-time job. I was a mom. My daughter was in, I don't know if she was in preschool. I think she was in preschool. I was a wife. I lived in the Bronx, and she was in Manhattan at the hospital. And I knew that at the end of my day, I had to go to the hospital. I had to take her things there. There were some other things she wanted me to bring to the hospital. And of course, I needed to see her and sit with her. I was very, very attached to my grandma. And so I did, you know, throughout the day, did everything, went back to the Bronx. I had to get my daughter. I remember like running errands, going to the store, going to her house, getting her bag, doing all this stuff. And I don't know what else I had to do, but I can tell you it was 1:30 in the morning. I showed up at the hospital with a 4-year-old in tow to go into ICU. Now, if you've never visited anybody in ICU, no children are allowed. You can't bring a child into ICU at any hour of the day. And ICU hours end probably 8 p.m., maybe 8:30. But you can't come into ICU. You know, the regular rooms visit is a little later, but ICU hours ends and it's over. And only close relatives can go anyway. Well, that was back then. I don't even know what the rules are now. I showed up hours after the hours were done. So rule number 1 was broken with the hours. And then I had a child with me. Rule number 2. So I walk in as if I could just walk in, because I had been there a couple days, and the security guard looks at me. He gives me this look like, now you know. You shouldn't even be at the door like this. He's looking at his watch. He's looking at me. And I looked at him like, if you knew what I'd been through today, you would just move over. And I think that's what I said. I was like, listen, man, it's been a long day, and I have to see my grandmother. I have to see her. There is no not seeing her. I gotta go in there. And he's like, and you got the baby. And I have my daughter. Yes. Yes, sir. 1:30 with a child, and I got to go in there. And he took a few steps back, and he let me in. And I walked in there like it was 1:30 in the afternoon. And I went and sat with my grandma. And so I say, sometimes you got to just say F the rules. When you know you've got to get somewhere, when you know you've got to do something, you can't worry always about the formalities of things. You can't worry about what people are going to say, what they're going to do, how they're going to react. You got to push forward, because there are certain scenarios where God will open a door for you. If it's not the door, he'll let you climb through the window. He'll let you run around to the back door. But he will open an opportunity for you. And sometimes we just can't sit and say, well, the rules say, and so I'm not going to try. You got to try. You got to push through a thing. Sometimes you just got to ask. Sometimes you have not because you ask not. Just ask for it. Doesn't matter if it may sound ridiculous, but sometimes you can ask. I just throw questions out sometimes. Well, can I do this? Well, what about this? Well, why can't I do this? And sometimes, you may get the no's, but sometimes you get an okay. You just got to ask. And I'm reminded of a recent scenario, which was this week, actually. I've been doing LinkedIn Lives with another young lady, Kendra. And so we were on her page. And there's a process, she informed me. You have to inquire, you have to request permission to go live on the platform, which I didn't even know because I had never been live. So I was like, oh, okay. So she sent me the link and I filled out the request. And then I didn't hear back from them. So she and I was on a Zoom together. And I said, let me go back in here. And I went back in and I asked for a status update because she got her permission the next day. Even though they say 3 to 4 business days, she got it quicker. And mine was over a week and I didn't hear back. And so when I did send the update request, they said that it's a different department that reviews it. And if you haven't heard back within 6 weeks or something, you can reapply or some foolishness. Reapply after 60 days. That's what it said. After I read that line, I was like, that's some foolishness. I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. And that's a problem. I think that's my auditing mind, because I started my career off as an auditor. And it was my job to check systems and the way that people did things, the way that companies operated, and make recommendations for policy changes and things of that nature, and to make sure that the employees were following the policies of the company, the state laws, and the federal laws. But also, I would look at things to see if it even made sense to do it. And if it didn't make any sense, I'd make a recommendation for an improvement, for a change. And so I still think like that. I'm always looking at the way people do things and the way that it can be improved. And that's just how my mind is. So when I read that foolishness, I dismissed it because it made no sense to me. First of all, if you get denied, you should receive notification of the denial. Second of all, so when you say 3 to 4 days and then you turn around, if you don't hear back within 6 weeks, that makes no sense. That you can reapply after 60 days, that made no sense to me, so I dismissed it. So then we started talking about StreamYard and putting the platform. So we were testing it out. And she was getting excited. She was like, oh, look what I could do. It was like a new toy. And I said, you know what? Someone was telling me about it. And I know people that love the platform, but I never tried it. So I said, hey, let me sign up. So while she was playing, I signed up. And then I attached my Facebook. In fact, I should have did it today. I attached my Facebook. I'm going to do it next time. And I attached my my LinkedIn and my YouTube. Now, YouTube, you got to wait a week before you can do it. So that's what they got to do. So that's fine. I've never went live on YouTube anyway. But my LinkedIn and my Facebook pages are there, and even my Facebook groups that I'm the admin of. So I was like, oh, this is cool, and it has some little toys. I haven't played yet with it. And so I decided, after she and I hung up, I said, let me test it. So I was live on LinkedIn. I was live without getting permission. I was there. I did a test. Test 1, test 2. Say what? Say what? Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. I was on it. So again, I say, sometimes you got to say F the rules, and you got to go for it and do it anyway. Just do it. I might have got approved and just didn't get a notification because I'm in there. It's on and popping. I'm going to be on there Thursday morning with her doing a live on LinkedIn. So, you know, I still have that same, you know, it's in me. You know, I challenge rules. I challenge policies and procedures. I challenge systems. I think of ways to do it better, and I apply it in my life in various areas. When something doesn't make sense to me, I don't necessarily feel the need to adhere to it. I don't know. I just don't. So, and not saying that's a great thing, because I get in trouble. I stay in trouble. But, you know, do it, you know, just don't give up. Keep pushing. You know, don't let the rules or the formality of a thing keep you from trying, keep you from succeeding. You could be further along. You know, some people apply to something and then they say, I gotta wait. So let's say you applied for a job, right? You applied for a job through the system online, and now you're just waiting to hear if anything happened. Well, if you know anything about these major corporations, they get tens, hundreds of thousands of applications every single day. They have a machine that checks keywords. So if you have certain keywords in your resume, then you may get pulled out of the pile. You might be one of 25 people out of 500,000 applications, right? It's almost like hitting the lottery. And the people that don't make it that day, they discard them. They trash them. They throw them in the garbage. They delete them out of the system, because tomorrow there's going to be another 500,000 applicants. You're gone. If you don't make it that day, it's a wrap. So if there's a particular company you really want to work for, or that position, you probably got to reapply every single day to that company if you do it online. And in addition, you got to do some other things. You may need to go on LinkedIn. Who am I connected to that works here? There's probably somebody, maybe a friend of a friend. And you got to ask that person, do you know them for real? Because sometimes we're connected to people we really don't know. And can you make an introduction? And then you got to ask them straight up. I'm trying to get into this company. Is there anything you can do? Can you help me? Because most people are not going to help you, but you got to ask. So you got to go through probably 10 people that work there, be a pain in their behind, find out who works in HR. Maybe you can get an introductory interview. I just want to introduce myself. I want 15 minutes of your time. And you could do it by Zoom. And just say, I just need to get on your calendar. I really want to work for this company. And if you could get an in-person meeting, that would be even better. Because then they can well, you can put a name to a face in Zoom, but it's a little different when you're breaking bread together. And really they're thinking about you. So when an opportunity does open, they may keep you in mind as it pertains to your skill set. But you got to do all these things. You got to meet people. You got to go several different angles. You can't just say, I put my resume in the system and now I'm waiting for the system to work for me, because that system sucks. It doesn't work. It's a lottery. When you go in the system and you take 45 minutes filling out all this foolishness, you upload your resume, but you still got to fill out all this foolishness. When you do all of that, you might as well get in the car and go get a lottery ticket, because that's about the same chances that you have doing that process. Sometimes you got to get the job and then just go in the system later as a formality. Get the job. Get the job. Get the interview. Get the offer. And then sometimes they'll say, well, you know what? We still need you to go in the system and apply. They need that because they need a trail. They need to say you actually went through the proper channels before they gave you the offer. But don't just sit and wait for systems and wait for the rules and the formality of a thing, because it may never happen. And especially those of us who are a little older and we're used to the way things were decades ago, they don't operate the same way now. We got to get rogue now. We got to get street or ghetto or whatever the word is that you want to say. But you got to be aggressive. You got to go get what's yours. God has so many blessings for us, but we can't just sit on the couch and expect all of them to come knocking on our door. We got to give him something to work with. We got to ask. We got to meet people. You know, he's going to put people in our paths that's just going to help us. That's just going to connect us to somebody else. But we got to ask. We got to let it be known that we're looking for this. You're looking for the job. You're looking for whatever the opportunity. You're looking for new clients. You're looking for whatever, a husband, whatever, whatever it is that God put, you know, the desire of your heart. You gotta put yourself in position for the greatness. Put yourself in position. So when that opportunity does come, you will be prepared for it. Just like when somebody knocks on your door. So I know that my grandmothers and even my ex-husband would say, you know, you got to keep your house. He was like OCD with the house, Lord. And I was good with a pile of papers on the table, and that got on his nerves. But, you know, keep the house immaculate, because you never know when somebody's just going to stop in. You never know. And so, you know, if somebody rings your bell and you're not dressed, right? You've been walking around, you had your breakfast, you just still got on your lounge outfit, and you just not together. And then somebody rings your bell. And now you're like, oh my God, you just feel trapped, stuck. You're like, should I answer? Hold on a minute. Now you got to go grab your robe. You're looking in the mirror, your hair. You're like, oh my, I'm not presentable, you know, and they say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now, you know, people are not going to knock on your door every day, but we need to be prepared so that when that opportunity comes, we're prepared. We're ready to go through the door. We're ready for it. There can't be anything worse than the opportunity finally coming and you not being ready for it. It just can't be. I know I've done some Clubhouse panels, and I know that, you know, a lot of times you're on your phone and your phone may ring or something happens, the kids are crying or something. And a lot of times, you know, they go what's called PTR, pull to refresh, and they go in order. And so they get to you, and then you have to say, you got to skip me. I'm not ready. You know, I'm dealing with something with my child. Or they see, now that you can see when somebody's on the phone, and they know they have to skip you. So when your turn comes, sometimes you're going to get skipped because you're not ready. And the show must go on. It's going to happen with you or without you. So it will behoove you, be ready. Get prepared. Do the work, study, whatever it is you got to do. work at getting prepared. And on that note, I got a lot of things I got to prepare for myself. So you have a wonderful, blessed day. Hey, Miss Angel, Miss Brown Eyes, how are you, my dear? Hey, JB, how y'all doing? Good morning, good morning. And I am out of here. Have a blessed, blessed day.